Yo guys, what's going on? So on today's video, what we're going to be doing is telling you everything that's been done on this car since the 31st of March 2021, which was when the last video of it was put on YouTube. Now, most people already know from my other social media outlets what's on the car now, but for my YouTube audience, you don't, and for those who know anyway and just want to see a video of cars getting modded, it's a good video for you to watch. So, all the upgrades have been to the interior, bar one, which we'll show you later. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to go into the inside of the car. What I've already done pre-video is the parts that I did have, because it's been over a year since I installed them. I don't have the parts anymore, such as the steering wheel that's in the car. I don't have the original anymore. But the parts that we did have, I've thrown them back in the car. I've taken my modded parts out and put them back in to show you on video them getting changed from what they were to what they are now. Something a bit different. I thought, why not? Let's do it, and then I can show you the final product of where the car is at now, at its final state. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video. Let's get inside the car. So, the last video you've seen of me modding a car was my Mark 6, which is right there. Anyway, in that video, I got a lot of slate because people were saying I don't know how to take apart a car, I'm using bad tools, blah blah. Just to let you know, that does not happen here. It doesn't happen in the unit. That day, if you watch the video, you'll understand I had no tools, and it's an old car, we just made do with what we had. Anyway, just to show you that that's not how I do things, and I do know how to take apart a car, I'm going to rip apart my own for no reason and show you. So we'll start with my steering wheel. Now the only thing I'm not going to do on this is the bolt. I'll show you why. Just give me a minute and I'll show you. But let's get the airbag out first. So what do? You turn the steering wheel to its side. There's a little pin here. You get it flatted. And wait, you need to firstly pull the steering wheel out. And then you pop that up. Once that's up, you have two pins from the behind. You won't be able to see it on camera, but there's two pins behind that are holding the airbag. That's one side out. I hate dry steering, by the way. And then you go to the other side and you put the second side out. That is now the airbag not removed because that one's gone back in. And there you go. Airbag removed. Now, I'm also going to get some hate now because you heard the horn go off, which means the battery's connected. The Golfs, I've never had an issue, to my knowledge. I've worked on over 150 Golfs airbags, and as long as the car's off and you're not messing about hitting the airbag and stuff, it's not going to deploy, as you now see, while you're taking it out. That's the airbag removed. Now, the airbag cover is held in with multiple tabs, as you can see here, all around the airbag. So you lift all these tabs up, you pop the airbag cover off, and you slam the new one on. And that's the airbag cover done. Then you push the tabs back in, and the airbag cover's done. Now, what's next when you're changing a steering wheel? I'll just put my airbag cover somewhere safe. Is the trim. Now, the trim is where you have to be a bit careful, because the paddles, if you have a paddle wheel, are connected by a small wire to the paddles. So when you pull this, you don't pull it too hard, otherwise, I've done this before, you will rip the wire clean out of the connector, and then you pretty much need new paddles, which are expensive to buy on their own. You have to do it carefully. So the way I do it is stick the trim tool in, and you have to get that initial lift out like that. So now that initial lift is lifted, so the main bit holding it in is out. Do the same on the other side. That's that done. Then what I do is I grab the bottom, grab it all, and this is where you will now see the connector holding in the paddles to the trim. That's how the paddles work. Undo it while holding it carefully, and there you go. Now, the reason I'm not going to actually unbolt the wheel, I can unbolt it if you want, but I don't think there's any need. Well, you need a spline tool, is because underneath the bolt there is a notch, one on the wheel and one on the hub of the wheel. Now, they need to line up when you're changing the steering wheel over. If they don't line up when you put it on, they will line up from factory always. If they don't when you put it on, then it'll feel like the car's tracking's off. Them notches have to match because it's actually how the wheel sits. So it's for me, sometimes it can take, sometimes you get it first time, sometimes it takes 15 minutes to line them up. I've done this perfectly and I don't want to mess around with it, so I'm not going to do that. But I'll show you everything that you need to do if you were changing the steering wheel over. So now what's next on this is the paddles need to be removed. They're held in with 2 T20s, I believe. So I'll grab the tool now, we'll take them out. Now we've got my very bright electric screwdriver, yellow. Pop the screws out. I won't get my hand in the way. Take the screw out, put it somewhere safe. You don't want to lose them. Same with this one. You can use a manual, of course. We bought an electric one just to make our lives easier. Then, carefully, again, pull the paddle off and guide the wire through the hole. You pull that and it's getting trapped there, you're going to rip the white connector off again. So make sure it goes through. Easy. Done. That's that. Same with this side. That's now your paddles removed. Now the last element of the wheel is the bolt. I'm not going to remove it. I can't be bothered getting the alignment wrong and having to spend 15 minutes doing it. All you do is stick the bolt in, unscrew it, take the bolt out, pull the wheel clean off, and that is that. Done. Now I'm going to put this back together off video and we're going to move on to the next thing. One more tip when you're using these golf paddles, I can't speak for others, I know it's true on Audis as well. If you tighten this all the way, like that paddle, if you look here, if it's too tight, the screw, it's going to get jammed. So what you have to do is, you can tighten it all the way and then slightly loosen it. And all of a sudden it works. The full tightness, I don't know why, I don't know what the science is behind it, but it stops it from clicking properly. So just fully tighten it and then slightly loosen it. Or just find the right balance the first time and then I'm good to go. So the next thing we're going to do is the infotainment screen in the car. Now you'll see from the clip here that this isn't the screen that you would have seen in the last video. The screen you seen in the last video was the 8-inch screen. Since then I have upgraded it to the Discover Pro 9.2. Now when I've changed it, I've sold the previous kit. It's been probably in excess of 8-9 months since I've done that, so I don't actually have an 8-inch screen to hand, but in the unit we did have it's a MIB 2, so this is from the late Mark 7s. It's a MIB 2 screen. This is not actually the original one I had in the car. This is 6.5 inch and the original one I had was 5.7. But I thought just to show you the possibilities of what you can do in a Golf 7, I'll put this one back in and then we'll upgrade to the one that's currently in the car. So first thing is, get your trim tool, pop it into here, you'll pull this out. Now what you don't want to do once you unplug this is turn your ignition on. Now one service that we offer through Demonized a lot is we send out pre-coded kits. So we'll get the information about your car, if it's got reverse camera, sensors, is it a GTI R, and we'll pre-code a unit and a kit and send them out to the customer who can't come to us. So there's no coding work involved for them. The one thing you don't want to do with this particular hazard light here is unplug them both and turn the ignition on, because what it'll actually do is trigger an airbag light in the car, which I'll show you right now because I can code it out. So if I have the ignition on here and I unplug this, within seconds you will get an airbag light. I can code that out, so it's not a problem for me. Right, anyway, next thing, you push your trim tool into here. I give it a little hit like that, and it should just lift out like that. Just go through it at different access points. This trim was a little bit dodgy, so it may not. And then while I'm here, I like to get the climate control trim out as well. So for the purpose of the video, we only put 2 of the 4 tabs in, just to make it quicker to remove. But yeah, so then once you've done that, right, so that's out. The next part is a bit of a life hack in terms of the VW world. Now, a lot of people know that to get the radio out and to get the screens out in the Mark 7s, you need the special radio keys. Typical example of one of the radio keys that you would need to get this out. But if you don't have this and you only need to remove the screen, this won't work with the stereo unit. If you don't need to remove the screen, just get a flathead, push it into where the key would go. It will take a bit of fiddling, but eventually it'll work. See, that corner's now out. Hold it out, and there you go. You'll need to do 3 of the 4. The 4th one never usually needs to come out. There you go. With no damage at all, it pops straight out. So once that's out, literally grab the plugs, straight out. Put that to the side. Now, while I'm here, I might as well do the next part as well. So these have 4 here, so there's 2 here usually. I haven't put them in just for the purpose of the video, but you need to pull them 2 out, pull these 2 out, and that is this out. Now you're gonna ask me why I'm removing the climate control, because there's an upgrade that some people may not have seen. It's something we've been offering for about 8 months, 9 months, through Demon, actually longer, probably past a year now. And there's an upgrade I'm going to show you to this. Some people are going to like it, some are not, but it's been a very popular product with us. So, and this is what we upgraded to. This is the 9-inch Discover Pro. So as standard in the Mark 7.5s, you get the 8-inch screen, which I previously had, which you would have seen in the last video. This is the optional upgrade of that, and it's a 9.2-inch display. Obviously the first thing you'll notice is it has buttons only on the left side, not on the right side like on the other screen. There's no spinny button like for the volume, which actually is a bit of an annoying feature, and I'll talk about that later. So all you do, grab your connectors, plug them straight in, then line it up, straight in. Now, next upgrade is for this, and we are upgrading it to this. Now this is a product we've been offering, like I said, for probably over 12 months now. It's a digital genuine climate control from the new Tiguan's, I believe, and we found a supplier who can make the surround trim that fits the Golf 7s, 7.5s, the Arteons, Tiguan's, Passats, etc. So some people don't like the touch thing because it kind of gives them the Mark 8 feeling, and a lot of people are not a fan of the Mark 8, but a lot of people do, and it really is whether you agree or not, it adds a lot of like a modern touch to the interior. So it's one of them. It's kind of a hit or miss, but first thing I need to do is take the tabs off the old one. Typically you'd be doing this with all 4, but when we supply these, we supply 4 new tabs as well that are actually smaller. So you'll see that these ones here are the smaller ones, to the ones, if you were doing your own upgrade, you'd see the ones on your current one are bigger. So they come separate so they don't break in a transit or anything. So you just clip them in, pull them out as they are push clips. So once you push them in, it widens this, which is what secures it in. Just get them all pulled out. Plug this in. At this point there would be a little bit of coding to do, but my coding's already done to this climate, so we don't do it. We don't actually give away what the coding is, but if you do buy one from us, you do get told if you're not having it fitted by us and you're getting it shipped out. Next, the trim. For those asking where my missing vector was, it's here. I left it in the trim. Plug the vector in. That's in. This is the bit now where you have to be careful. Now you need to guide these 2 wires through the same gap as before. However, you need to be making sure these plastic tabs around the back of the trim aren't hitting your screen and scratching it. So you kind of need to guide them, and at the same time guide the trim into a position where you know it's not going to scratch. Please don't do it. It's literally something that is just going to hurt you instantly. It's like scratching your car. You're going to scratch the screen, especially like if it's a brand new screen that you've just put in the car. Like that, you know it wasn't going to scratch. Make sure it's all lined up. Just tuck that wire away. And then just kind of gently just secure it into place like that. That's now in. Just make sure it's all lined up with the screen and everything, and then you'll know it's in. Get your connectors, plug them back in, connect that in, and then this is the new trim you get with the digital climate control. So it's gloss black, so anyone with a 7.5 with the gloss black trims, it'll match yours. With a 7.5 R, it'll match yours. If you do get an upgrade, most likely you'll get a gloss black trim as well. So, and watch the fitment now. Look at that. It's like factory. It's crazy. And that is that. Now we'll give it a clean up, and I'm going to run through the features with you. So it's a much bigger display. We'll talk about the climate control in a second. Press home. Unlike any other screen in the Golf, you've got a full home menu, widgets. There's a navigation map here. Press home again. You've got like the radio kind of thing. You don't have like a home kind of menu on any of the other screens that are available. The biggest thing that I think people go for this screen over the 8-inch is, as you'll know, on the 8-inch you cannot run maps, VW maps, on this screen and on the virtual cockpit simultaneously, whereas on this you can. As you can see right now, is displaying on both. Now on the Mark 7, on the Mark 7.5s with the 8-inch screen, it can only be on one at once. If you try to put it on both, it'll just switch to one of them. It doesn't give you the option for both, whereas on this it does give you both. So that's another big feature. The next one is when we go into the media, you have the jukebox option. Now jukebox is basically built-in video in motion, so you can insert devices into the car with like, say like an SD card with videos already in there and play them on the screen. Obviously you have the multimedia box option as well, which can go through the Apple CarPlay, but you actually have on the stereo itself built-in pretty much video in motion. If you stick a USB in with videos on it, you can play them on here, which is awesome. And the final thing, which, I mean, you get Apple CarPlay on the previous screen that I had, the 8-inch, but the display on this screen is actually different. So I'll show you the Apple CarPlay now. So plug the phone in, instantly boots up, well, a few seconds later, there we go. So you know the standard stuff about Apple CarPlay, but I think this screen is just so much nicer. Look at that compared to the Mark 7 one. You'll know from the compared to the Mark 7.5 one, sorry. It's just so much nicer. Obviously you've got your Waze, you can run the Waze at the same time. If you're not using the maps, if you do use the maps, like I set a destination, it'll turn that one off. That can't be, you can't do nothing about that. So you've got your Apple Maps as well, if you use them. And then besides that, yeah, Spotify, YouTube Music. I'm not going to play any music because every time we seem to play even a second of music, they shaft us with the copyright. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can switch back anytime. And then obviously I've still got my reverse camera, which comes up as usual. Now we move on to the climate control. So this is the new climate control that we install in the car. So it's a digital one, so you actually tap it to make it work. It's pretty cool. I love it. I mean, some people don't like the fact that it's touch button because it kind of symbolises the Mark 8, which I did slate as well. But just so much more modern than this. That's why I like it. It's a massive, like, do you know when you add the VC in, the bigger screen, even my Vector to some extent as well. It just makes the whole interior look so much better. Even with this, to change, if I'll just put on the lowest setting, to actually change this, you can swipe up or down, you can hold it and it'll jump, or you can just tap it. So you've got 3 options with that. To change the fan, you can swipe it and slide it. It's got a menu button which, if you press it, puts the climate control actually on the screen itself. And I don't know if this is a thing with the 9.2, but since I put this climate control in, when I press it, it always comes up at the bottom here. So rather than having to keep pressing this to find the one I want, I can literally say I want that one. I can just press that one and it puts it directly on it. Instead of like here, when you press them, you end up with all 3 on, and then you're trying to find the right one. You just press it once, I can go straight to the one I wanted. It's pretty sick. That climate control upgrade looks sick, and I think just all in all, very, very nice. For a 2014 car, it's not bad, is it? Now, you'll have noticed this, my gear stick, which is the final upgrade. I haven't got an original one, and the video's getting a bit longed out, so I'm not going to actually dismantle this one on video because we've still got to do the outside. But what you do with this is you actually pop the top off, undo the clip that holds in the gear stick, pull it off, and then just put the new one on, and that is pretty much it. I've also changed the gator to an Alcantara one, which I got to match the airbag cover. I did get blue stitching at the time because I was still going blue stitching theme or blue theme throughout the car, and it doesn't match the airbag. So I'll probably, if I do keep the car, I'll probably change that at some point to one with grey stitching, as I have them in stock. Everything you've seen in this video, we stock. Now, a lot of people have been messaging me on my private account about this stuff. Please contact Demonize directly. The link is in the bio of every single video. Demonize UK, that is the business where we supply all these things. The gear sticks, the gaiters, the airbag covers, the paddles, the steering wheel, the screen. I can even get you the Vector if you really want it. The virtual dash, all of these things we offer through Demonize. So if you need any of them, please don't contact me, contact the business directly, because the staff who handle all the inquiries and stuff, and they will get back to you. Let's move to the outside. So, moving on to the exterior now. There's quite a lot that's actually been done to the exterior since the last video. A lot of people know about how the car looks now, but for those who don't, we'll go through it. So, front end, what have we done? So, the front lights have been lacquered. Originally, they were always tinted with tint film. But if you watch my previous video on the RS3, I'll explain the difference between the two. These have been tinted a lot darker than the ones on the RS3. These are 3 coats on the front, so they're a lot more meaner. These weren't like matrix LED like the old RS3, like my RS3, sorry. So I felt like I could go a bit darker on these, unlike that car where I showed you they were quite actually subtle and light. The next thing is, we changed the badges. Now you'll remember they're already black, but with the blue inlays. Now these are new badge covers that we've been offering for probably about a year at Demonized, and my blue inside my original badges had kind of faded out. I tried to get them like redone, but no one wanted to do it, so I just put these new ones on because I've kind of got rid of the blue look anyway. The only thing left on the exterior of the car that is blue is the calipers. And the last thing you'll notice, which is the most obvious one, is the plate. Now the last video that was posted in March 21, the plate was my name, XO Bilal, and now it's DSG XO. So it's just a plate that I'd found while the car was in the body shop. I just came across it and I was like, wow. I was like, it's my username on Instagram, DSG, and it just works with the car as well, DSG, and it just kind of went with the brand, so I thought I'll buy that, put it on, and that's why the Bilal plate is now on the GLC. So onto the back end. Doesn't look much different from what it was. First thing we did, again, when it was in the body shop, the lights that you see me install in the videos back in 2021, the clear ones, had them lacquer sprayed. Same story as the front, same story as the RS3. Blacked them out, so they're actually clear lights with a lacquer sprayed over them. So that was that. We installed a full 7.5 bumper. I picked this up from Birmingham. It was blue. It was off for 7.5. Sprayed it to pearl black, which is the colour of the car. Fitted that on. Obviously the rear plate got changed as well to DSG. So this diffuser, you will notice, is not probably something you've seen on an R before. This diffuser is actually a genuine GTI TCR diffuser. We still had an issue with fitment because obviously the GTIs have dual tips and the Golf R's have quad. So what we actually had to do was, there's normally a spot, I'll throw in a picture here, there's this part of the diffuser kind of curves downwards, and then the tip would typically be here. It curves downwards on both sides, so what we did was, we sacrificed that on each side and we cut it off, sanded it down and sprayed it. Now you'll also notice the tips from the last video are different. That is because, as I mentioned earlier, this car has had a back box delete put into it since that video. So now the exhaust is completely straight through. No cap, there's a bigger downpipe, there's no res, and there's no back box. It's the loudest Golf R I've ever heard. This is me shouting now. That's how loud this car is. For those who are saying that's far too loud, that was a cold start. That's how loud the cold start is. This is now a normal tick over, how loud it is. It's so loud, you don't understand. I'm going to take it out and you'll hear it properly. DSG farts, launch control, all that. So we're on the move now. We've added some light into the car. How long it lasts, I can't guarantee. I'm going to show you how it sounds when I'm cruising, which is now. It's loud, but not too bad. If I pull the window down, you might be able to hear it a bit better. But the second you open the taps on it, I hope that light doesn't go flying when I do it. But we're in race now. Drop a gear, drop another gear. The light did go flying. See, it's just, the car's so loud, I don't know when you can hear me and when you can't. So I'm going to talk when I'm not booting it, so that way you can hear it. But living with it, obviously I've still got my low drone resin, so on the motorway, I'd say it's actually louder at 70 than it is at 75, and once you go over 75, even 76, 77, it gets very drony. So I don't really use this on the motorway anymore. This is something that if you've just got like a bit of a toy that we're going to pull out every now and then, that's when you'll have a full setup like this. If you are trying to daily this, it will do your head in, and that's why I know so many people I know of that have got back box deletes on their dailies have got rid of it. But obviously I don't daily this. I probably use it once every 3 weeks, once every month. So for them kind of situation, it's perfect. The DSG farts are so loud, it's insane. And you've heard how it only pops, like it's in third now, it'll burble, it won't pop and bang. And then when I drop into second, it's insane. You know what? I think I've neglected this car too much since the RS3. It is still a fun car to drive. Hearing how loud they are now, you can understand why I can't have them in third gear onwards. Only first and second. If I let off in third now, doesn't do it now. Still loud, but the second I drop to second, it's ridiculous. Tunnel run. Right, now I'm in a place I'm not going to get shouted at. I'll give it some revs and I'll show you how it sounds in launch as well. Now I'll show you how the launch sounds. So that's how it sounds in launch. It's absolutely insane. A lot of people aren't going to like it. They're going to say it's too much, but it's a bit of fun for me. It's minor. I'm not filling up here, by the way. We just came in because there was light. So that wraps up this video. The next one is going to be telling you about the engine change and everything else around that and what happened with that. Some other bits that happened with the car as well. Quite an interesting one. This one was more of a practical video where I was showing you things. The next one is going to be pure talking. So you might, I don't know how much people like seeing me talk and whatever, etc. But that video is purely focused on what happened with that, and it's just going to be pure talking and basically a full update on everything that happened. But yeah, that's wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, share. Peace out.